Hello, welcome if you're new here. My name is Joanna, and today I'm doing the end of the year book tag video. I know a lot of people do this particular tag a little earlier in the year, like in October, and I'm a little late to the game, but I did do a fall TBR video, and I'm happy to say that I've read almost everything on that TBR, with the exception of a couple of things I'll talk about in this video. So this is going to function as my end of the year TBR for the rest of 2022, and we'll see how it goes. So prompt number one is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, the book I'm currently reading, which is The Warrior Prophet. This is book two in the Prince of Nothing trilogy by R. Scott Bakker. I picked up and read The Prince of Nothing book one, The Darkness That Comes Before, last month, and I found it entirely captivating and interesting, intriguing, though uncomfortable at times. And I'm reading this trilogy with some friends. My goal is to finish this trilogy before the end of the year, and I'm excited to have those discussions. The first one is up on Philip's channel, on Philip Chase, and I do have a spoiler-free review for that book, The Darkness That Comes Before, if you're curious and want to hear more. And then prompt number two, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? And so my answer to this is that I did finish a book on November 1st that I think could count for this category just because of the cover art. Actually, the two I have to mention here is mostly because of the cover art. And that first book is the A Touch of Light, by Thiago Abdallah. And I chose that one because I think the tree just gives me autumnal fall vibes. It's beautiful. It looks a lot like those leaves at the top anyway, look a lot like trees that I passed by here. It's a little different now. I feel like the seasons have changed pretty quickly here, but about a week ago I was seeing trees like that, like the one on that particular cover. And I think that the eternally falling leaves that happen on those trees in that world kind of go along with fall, I would say. And then the other book that I think gives me fall vibes, just because of the cover art alone, and I have not read this book yet, is The Severing Sun by Von Roycroft. And I've heard such praise for this book. And this book, The Severing Sun, just came out this year and already has incredible praise. There's even a blurb at the beginning that Philip wrote. And I am so excited to get to it. But I keep saying that this would be perfect for fall just because the color palette on the front cover looks a lot like colors I see when I look out the window right now. So that's why I chose this particular book. And then prompt number three, is there a new release you're still waiting for? No, actually not. I I haven't stayed on top of new releases in the second part of the year. So no, I can't think of any that are coming out between now and January 31st. But let me know down in the comment section below if there are any you're excited about. And then number four, what are three books you want to read before the end of the year? So I already mentioned how I would love to get to The Severing Sun. If I don't get to this before the end of the year, I might have to put it off for a while, but I would love to get to that. And of course, finish off the Prince of Nothing trilogy. I'm going to do that. I also have a couple of other things actually. I have volumes 6 and 7 in Vinland Saga. These are checked out from my local library, so I need to finish them. Actually, they're interlibrary loan. So I need to finish them so I can go ahead and pass them back to my library. But I started this series in January this year, actually, and I've been really enjoying it. And the other thing I need to finish this year is Elric of Melniboné. I have the jacket, the sleeve of this over on the shelf. But I really have been enjoying the Elric saga so far. I'm halfway through this with a read along with some friends. And so we're about to discuss the second story in this bind up. There are 4 in here. And then I'm going to try to finish books or stories 3 and 4 in this bind up before the end of the year. So those are really like short novellas in and of themselves. So I look forward to that. And so those are ones that come to mind. Next book I'm picking up will be Augustus by John Williams. And I loved Stoner by John Williams earlier this year. So my goal is to get to that before, well, next. That's my next book. Actually, there are a couple of other books I'd love to get to before the end of the year, even though the prompt says just 3. And so one of those is The Vanished Birds. This is getting such high praise in circles I follow. And I know Evie gifted this to me from She Was Only Evie, and she loves this book. So I told her I would try my best to get to it before the end of the year. And then one other book I really want to get to before the end of the year, it's a personal goal of mine, is Night of Knives by Ian C. Esselmont, because I've been saying all year I would get to some ice books this year and I haven't done that. So that will be my goal. I'm going to start with Night of Knives. So I hope I get to it before the end of the year. And then next prompt is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Well, I think my favorite answer to this was Brittany's answer, in which she said that she doesn't ever predict favorites in a way they find her. So she'll go into every book anticipating she will enjoy the book. And usually favorites are ones that impact her on levels she didn't anticipate. And I think Angela from Literature Science Alliance said something very similar, where she goes in expecting to really enjoy a book, and the ones that make it to favorites are just kind of extra surprises. So that's usually the case for me too. I'm sure any of these could become favorites, but I'm not sure if it would shock me or not. We'll find out. Last question. Have you started making reading plans for next year? And my answer to this is that I have. If you followed me for a short while, you probably know that I am going to be kicking off the A Song of Ice and Fire read along slash reread along for 2023 with the Game of Thrones live show, which will be on my channel on February 4th at 2 p.m. EST. And we're going to have a character discussion live show 1 week later here on my channel again at 2 p.m. EST. So if you want to join, if you've read the series before, want to reread it, if you've never read A Song of Ice and Fire before, then you definitely want to check this out. So I'm going to be co-hosting this with some lovely friends. We had an announcement video here on my channel. I'll link it in case you want to find out more details. But I'm thrilled and excited about that. And I'm also going to be continuing the Janny Wirtz series, Shadow of the Mist-Wraith. This is the first book, and that is the Wars of Light and Shadow series. And I'm very excited to continue with that over with Philip Chase, Jimmy from the Fantasy Network, AP Canavan. And so we will be starting off with our first book discussion. I think that will happen before the end of the year. So we'll see how we go with that. And then aside from that, those two read-alongs, I'm also going to be reading Shogun in January with Alex from Tall Guy Reads and with Theo, Rekindled Reader, and Alan from the Library of Alexandria. I think we're going to be taking some different paces with how fast we get through it. I don't read quite as quickly as Alex does, but I am so excited to get to that book because that has been one I've wanted to read for a few years now. Both my parents read it when they were much younger and loved the book. And so this is one I'm anticipating I will love as well. It was in my video, Why Haven't I Read These Books Yet tag. So that's going to be so much fun. So I think that covers it for now. I'm sure more reading plans will emerge probably before the end of the day because that's how things go. But let me know if you've read any of the books I've mentioned, if you're planning to read any of the books I've mentioned. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your 2022. Bye-bye.